Welcome to another edition of Six Pack Cinema. This week we are reviewing Marvel's The Avengers Infinity War, which means Jimmy is out and it's just a Sheehan and Dave podcast since he hates superhero movies. But we're going to be talking Thanos, 19 films all coming together, and just everything in the Marvel Universe, so let's hop into it.
Dude, you should review movies.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, I've had a couple, so time for movie review.
Snap impression, I love it. I mean, just because it's hard not to love Marvel movies now because we're so invested in it, you know? So, they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything to piss people off. I thought it was really well done, but I have a gripe with the format that the movies have been following. And that is that they're just chapters now. They're not movies.
I can see that being a negative. I like that, though. It feels like it's actually this bigger universe, and there's nothing else to compare it to. There's no other film series that's like this.
Yeah,
and
because
I like that everything, the movies are all like little vignettes to separate stories in this universe, and I liked that this movie felt like the beginning of a comic crossover where like everybody's doing shit in their own part of like the Marvel universe and it's slowly coming together, and the next one everyone has to be together for the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, but we know that Infinity War is a 2-part movie.
Yes.
Which I think is fucking bullshit because it's 2 hours and 40 minutes invested in one half.
I'm glad they did it because you needed that time to set everything up, or you would have had to have, you needed 2 movies no matter what. At least 2.
Yeah.
I feel like.
No, I know. It's just the beast that they created.
I wish part 2 was coming in July and not in a year. That would have
been much better. I would have been much happier with that.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that. So, I mean, this is the beast they've created. It's a unrelenting machine of movies. 3, maybe 4 a year, and they're not going to stop because I say I don't like how it doesn't have an ending. They're just going to keep going because it didn't have a fucking ending. It did and it didn't.
Well, it did. I love this because in all the interviews and stuff. Because for those of you who don't know at home, this was originally labeled as Infinity War Part 1, and then the one coming out next year was Part 2, and then they took the Part 1 and Part 2 off. This was Infinity War, and next year's title hasn't been revealed yet. And they said, this is its own story from a certain point of view. Yep. It'll lead into the next Avengers movie, but this is its own story from a certain point of view, is what they kept hammering home. And it is. If you look at it as Thanos as the protagonist. He goes through all the steps that every other Marvel hero has gone through in their origin movie, and he overcomes all the odds in the end, and he gets his happily ever after at the end.
Sure, happily ever after for him.
Yes. Well,
even though he's not so happy, he just does it because it's his. But I will get into that later. I love his whole deep character.
I love him so much more than in the comics.
Yeah, for sure. So where was I going with that? Fuck it, pass. I had a thought and I got totally derailed by myself.
Okay, so this movie is so big, so large. Why don't we go through it kind of character by character, each separate story by separate story, and then since they all come together at the end, we can do it that way. That sound good?
Yeah, okay. Oh, I know what I was going to say real quick.
What?
About the whole disappearing at the end and it was like an ending but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It really bothers me because we're sitting there and anyone who likes Marvel at all knows that there's a Spider-Man 2 coming out and a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming out. So we know that those movies are coming, and these guys are not really dead. I mean, they're dead, but they kind of come back, and it's like, we know this is temporary.
We'll talk about the deaths at the end. All right.
Okay. But that bothers me.
I agree. All right.
Because we can see behind the curtain.
My point on that is, you and I, not only do we love Marvel a ton, we love movies a ton. That's why we're doing this podcast. Mm-hmm. So we read the trades. We know all that there's movies coming. My nephew saw this movie, doesn't know there's a Spider-Man 2 coming, doesn't know there's a Black Panther 2 coming, and he left the theater devastated, being like, they're gone.
Well, how old is he?
He's 11.
Yeah. Okay.
But, these are, we love them.
These are for us, Dave. These are for us.
They're kids' movies.
No, this is 10 years in the making. This is the kids movies was a 1990s Batman. Those were kid movies. These
love those
are
movies.
these are 20 like the 20-year-olds to 30-year-old movie.
But still, all right. Still, I have coworkers who don't follow it that much, who don't know if there's like another Spider-Man coming.
True.
Black
Okay. No.
Panther.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Like they can easily like Google it and find out, but for people who aren't as tapped into it as us, they think shit. Like they're gone.
I guess I just wish I didn't know as much as I do.
Yes, that is the burden
Ignorance.
we bear as superfans.
Ignorance is bliss. That's why I'm not going to read any more comics about the Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War battles or whatever other ones. I'm done. Cause,
Yeah, I mean, I've read the whole story because...
See, I read Civil War before Civil War came out, and it didn't follow at all. So I was like, all right, well, I'll read Infinity Gauntlet. And it followed.
It's at least the broad strokes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was a little upset by that. I was hoping that he didn't actually get all 6 stones.
Okay, so let's
So I lost.
We'll start with Thor, because the movie starts with Thor.
Yep.
Movie opens, just goes right into basically few minutes after Thor Ragnarok ends.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's not the usual Marvel fanfare or all that. The title screen just kind of, like, shorts out like a transmission, and you hear an Asgardian distress signal going out, which I love. That set the tone so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut into the throne room of the ship Thor had, and the Black Order and Thanos have pretty much killed everybody already.
Yep,
Thoughts on that scene?
It was a great way to open it, because like if we're going by chapters now, which we are, it's picking right up where it left off, and I always love seeing Loki and Thor with their relationship and how weird it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you never know if Loki's good, bad, dead, or alive.
Yeah.
And they kind of kept that going here. For a minute, you thought he was bad, and also he stole the Tesseract, and we were speculating if he had a deal with Thanos before.
Yeah.
And it was clear now that he didn't. He just wanted it.
Yeah. He just wanted it, and then I do love that he gave it up though for Thor, because if you remember in the first Avengers, I forget who he was talking to. It was it may have been Coulson, where when he was trapped on the ship, and they were interrogating him, and he was like, "The whole world's unbalanced, and you're bargaining for one person," because they wanted someone back, and I love that. That's exactly what he did in this.
Yeah, they
the
wanted
universe
Hawkeye
is
back.
at stake, and he was willing to give up the Tesseract for his brother.
Yeah.
That's
that was
some
nice
crazy
little-
character growth between films.
Because he thought he could kill him too. So he had that knife pop up, and he was okay. He came close.
Yeah,
But as
a
we
lot
know-
of people came close.
But as we know, it wasn't really that close because Thanos just knew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Seeing him die, I'm pretty sure he's actually dead now because he crumbled. It was a good choke out.
Oh yeah. And even Thor has a comment later where he's like, he's been dead before, but this time seems final.
Yeah. I like that. I like how they've made Thor into not like a hokey guy, but they made him more like Star-Lord. Like after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, before Guardians there was Thor 1 and 2, and he was the Asgardian god, and just he was a hunk and he was a warrior. After Guardians came out, it was like, oh well, comedy works in space because space is ridiculous if you try to take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
And the way that he is absolutely perfect as trying to do a funny role. I think like remember during Civil War there was a little 5-minute video with Thor and Hulk.
Yes.
Like they're like just hanging out in Australia because no one invited them. I think that might have been like a test to see if Chris Hemsworth could be funny, and he was.
Yeah, I feel like Hemsworth is better as a comedic actor than anything else he's done.
For real, that's a true statement.
People just put him into these action roles because he looks like how he looks. He looks like a superhero in real life, but he's a funny guy.
He is. So what do you think? Moving on from that, the big Thor story was the hammer or the axe.
Yes, the axe. I liked it, but I can see why people don't, because his whole thing in his last movie is that he doesn't need the hammer. The power is from within.
Yep.
So
But
I can
the
see
hammer
why people...
focuses it.
Yes, That's what I was gonna say. Like, this just gives him a way to like focus it, and this
Yep.
was not Thor's hammer. It was a weapon for a king, which is
Yep.
what he is now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's moved past his hammer.
And you can't take a lightning bolt and swing it around and knock guys out. It's much more, tactical for battle. And you can't it's not a hammer. I gotta call it an axe.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a lightning bolt and crush it through Thanos' chest like an axe can.
Well, maybe you can.
Actually, the lightning bolt probably would have worked better.
Yeah, would have been quicker.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Thor teaming up with the Guardians, though?
It wasn't the Guardians. It was just Rocket and Groot.
The Guardians found him, which was
Yeah.
That was a great scene when, who was it? Star-Lord was like, "Who is this dude?"
Yeah.
And Drax is like, "He's not a dude.
He's a
this
man."
is a man." It's like a
Yep.
pirate had a baby with an angel.
Yep. I mean, unfortunately for Chris Pratt in that scene, Chris Pratt was the weakest of all 6 people there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not physically, but like acting wise, and it was just like his character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did fine acting, but the character of Star-Lord, he wasn't good. Put it that way. He turned out not great throughout the whole movie, as we'll talk later. He's an asshole. He's a brat, and I'm ashamed to say he's from Earth.
I liked him in this movie. I felt
Oh, come on.
I mean, he definitely fucks up later, but it's very much with it, like, in his character.
Yep.
We can get into it later. But, yeah, so...
He fucked up twice. Big time.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, I'm not denying that, but I just liked that they didn't try to change him from, like, the last time we saw him. It seemed like this is exactly who his character would be.
I know, but, I mean, you can put this thing resting solely on his shoulders. Why half the universe is dead.
Well, all right.
Solely on his shoulders.
We'll get into that when we get to that storyline.
Okay.
So the Guardians pick up Thor, and he
Yep.
goes on this quest to get a new weapon with his friends, Tree and Rabbit,
Yep.
a.k.a. Groot and Rocket Raccoon. I think this, like, the 3 of them together might have been my favorite pairing in the whole movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they're perfect. They're the 3 comic reliefs, but they complement each other.
Yes, and they all
Yeah.
have very tragic backstories that, like, ground them.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
When Thor was breaking down on the ship and Rocket was trying to be a real captain to him and talk to him, that was a big moment for Rocket just from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You see him growing, and you forget how tragic the Thor movies really have been. His mother's dead, his father's dead, had to kill his sister. His brother has betrayed him a ton of times and died before and just died again.
His adopted brother.
Yes, sorry, adopted brother.
Yeah. I mean, that whole storyline, that was great because, I mean, the situations they were in were amazing. They picked him up in the ship, and they went off, and they made a new hammer with fucking Peter Dinklage as a giant. And then they come back to
giant
Earth.
dwarf.
Yep. And then they come back to Earth, and they absolutely wallop ass. It was great. So,
Oh, yeah.
he had the easiest time of anyone.
For sure. And that's probably my favorite scene, when the Bifrost comes down in the middle of the Wakanda battle,
Yep.
and just Thor, Rocket, and Groot come down and just start murking everyone.
They should have had, like, some, they needed to have, like, a song for him, like a walk-up song coming out of the sky. Oh yeah. Great.
For sure.
It was a game changer. Everyone kind of like freaked out a little bit. But all right, we gotta move it along because we can literally talk about this movie for 3 hours. But we can't. We literally can't. So
I know. We have another podcast to record. All right, so let's hop into Cap's story, because this is the shortest one, I feel like. We can get through this quick.
he was there.
So, yeah, pretty much that's his whole story. He was there. He showed up when the Black Order was attacking Wanda and Vision, and then they just took him to they took him to America first to get the Hulk and War Machine for some reason.
Yeah, no, that didn't really make much sense why they went there, other than to maybe they went there to communicate what they found. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess they didn't know that Tony Stark was missing at that point.
Yeah.
So they went there probably just to relay how serious it was.
Yeah, and hold up, that was the only reference to Civil War in this whole fucking movie, and that's another thing that bothered me. Civil War ended, and there was a lot of questions. They're in Wakanda, they're spread out, and they're like, where's he gonna go? What's he gonna do? And it was answered in like, let's say 6 to 7 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, but I understand you want more. I just feel like with how packed this movie is.
Oh no, I think they should have backed it up, and they should have tied a nice little bow on it in the Civil War.
Yeah, I do know they released like comics bridging Civil War to this, but you can't ask people to go out and read additional shit.
The MCU is all cinematic stuff. You need to put it in the movie.
Yeah,
and also with that one little note with Rhodey, they said, "Oh, guys, haven't seen you in 2 years," and it was like some big moment to seeing them again. Bitch, we haven't seen you in 2 years, Rhodey. Last time I saw these guys, I saw you. The viewer's timeline is completely shot with what you're doing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they got to work for a long time. These movies were coming out in order, and it made sense.
Yep.
The last year has really not been great.
No, I mean, what was good? It was the Hulk and Black Widow. That was nice because in Thor Ragnarok, we had the whole missing thing. So it was like from Age of Ultron to Thor Ragnarok. So that felt like a good amount of time. Because we've seen both of those characters in movies since, and they hadn't been together. Rhodey, last time I saw you on screen, you were with these people. So, and that's my rant on that. Let's go back to Captain America and his nothingness in this movie.
Yeah. So he shows up, saves them from 2 members of the Black Order, and then they go pick up people, and then they head to Wakanda to try and take the Mind Stone out of Vision's head so that Wanda can destroy it. Which I was annoyed at this whole plot being like the universe is at stake. Fuck it, like just kill him and like destroy the stone.
Yep.
At first.
Yep.
But the fact that Thanos ends up with the Time Stone, it doesn't matter. He would have been able to rewind it no matter what.
No. You have to have all the remnants and be in the area where that happened. So if they smashed it.
I don't think you do with all the other 6 stones.
I read the books of whatever that Doctor Strange is. I read the books. That you have to be in the area. You have to have the same people. You can't if they broke it in New York and they went to Wakanda with his body, he wouldn't be able to go back.
But can't the stone just rewind all of time? So he could have just rewinded all of time except himself. So before she killed him in New York, gone to New York and taken it then.
I don't think it can do all that. I think it probably can. Fuck it, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean these things, their powers are kind of just up in the air.
Yeah.
You get very vague descriptions of what these stones can do.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's count ways where they fucked up. Captain America fucked up by not killing the girl, and she said straight up, "Yeah, you'll never get another chance to do this." And she beamed up and came back with an army of, I think, Venoms.
Yeah, those things were creepy. That was some body horror when they were throwing themselves through the. All I can think of is the Gungan shields from Phantom Menace.
Yep. Yes.
That was a scary scene if you were a kid watching this.
My thought is that this is how they're going to tie Venom into this world, because I know that they're going to have the cameo of Spider-Man. I think those are the symbiotes.
Ooh, maybe.
Because they looked like it. They had the same pulsing weird.
Yeah,
graphics.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on me. Scoping that out.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that was pretty much it. And then they go to Wakanda and fight these things.
The big thing with Captain America is he didn't have a shield. He had those weird ass things on his shoulder. Those sucked.
Yeah.
Those sucked so bad. That's not a shield. That's just a wristband protector.
How much do you wish that Marvel had today's hindsight to make Wakanda a bigger thing? They had no idea how big Black Panther was going to be, and Wakanda was hardly in this movie.
I'm glad. You got to ease into it. We got to ease into it, man. We can't just blam all of a sudden.
I mean,
Wakanda.
You got to think they kind of wanted or wish they had at least some battle planning scenes or something there to show it off more in the characters there, because the world fell in love with it 2 months ago, and then it's in maybe
A third?
15 minutes of screen time.
I mean, it should have been like a third. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically Cap's story. He loses at the end. Let's do Tony's and then the main story, which is Thanos.
Okay. Tony,
So-
love him and his story.
I know Robert Downey Jr. said for a while he wants out of these movies, but I just love him in this role so much.
How can you want out of this movie? I mean,
He has more money than God. He doesn't.
he looks
need it.
great. He looks great in him. Everyone loves him. He is literally. I mean, Captain America is, I guess, the leader of the Avengers, but as far as movies go, Iron Man carries it every time.
Yeah.
Stark does the heavy lifting.
Well, which is funny because I actually like the Captain America movies way more than the Iron Man movies.
But in ensembles,
But I like
when
Tony
they're in the
Stark.
when they're in the screen together, it's by a mile. Tony Stark.
Yes, except now I think I'm a Thor guy after Ragnarok and this.
Yeah, but he's not going to be around forever. They're phasing him out.
He's the only one who wants of the original people. Him and Mark Ruffalo are the only actors who say that like they want to do more and have signed extensions on their contracts.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with them staying in. So yeah, his story opens up. He's jogging with Pepper. They've been married now. Apparently, that wasn't just a joke at the end of Homecoming. They actually got married, or they're engaged at least.
Now they want to have kids.
Yeah, he wants.
Oh,
kids.
they're just engaged. Yeah.
Yes. He wants kids, which kind of plays into something near the end.
Yep.
And Pepper's like, oh, you're not really like mature enough to handle it. You're still running around being Iron Man even after you removed the reactor from your chest. You
Put it
put
back
another
in.
one back in.
Which is important because that was the what do they call it? The nanobot technology. So his entire suit now, which used to be like clink clank clink clunk everywhere, is now just little tiny little nanobots that go into your bloodstream as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or at least in the comics, that's how it works.
Yeah.
I would love if in the MCU, he got this technology from Wakanda opening its borders. Because they had that for the Black Panther suit. And that
Yep.
movie was set just after Civil War, which was like 2 years before this.
This one, they didn't know that was gonna be a big deal because when I was watching Age of Ultron, they tipped it. I remember that thing where Hawkeye was getting his like side stitched together by that robot. It was it was synthetic skin or whatever. She looked at Tony and says, "One day this will replace the clunky iron slabs of yours."
Oh, true.
And I was like, there it is.
In my head, I'm still believing that like they made the breakthrough.
It's the
through
same tech,
Wakanda.
but from a different area. It's from a different like world.
Yeah. In
That
my
was
head,
their safeguard.
I want him to have like gotten it from Wakanda though. Like
Oh.
there was something he couldn't get right, and then Wakanda opened up their borders, and he's like, "Oh shit."
When Wakanda now that like Wakanda's like actually open, because now when he comes back from space and sees like what's going on, and he can just talk with that little girl, shit's gonna happen. Those brains put together. I mean, fuck, how awesome was that when she looked at them at Banner and says, "Why didn't you guys think of this? Why wouldn't you do this?" Like, because she's brilliant compared to these two.
Well, that's why we said it in our Black Panther review. I think she's going to take the place of Riri from the comics.
Yeah, Ironheart, right?
Yeah, Ironheart, who becomes basically the next Iron Man.
Yep.
After Tony's gone, and I think it's easier to have her take it than like just another like young black girl who happens to be the smartest person on the planet show up out of nowhere.
Oh, if there's anyone taking the mantle of Iron Man, it's got to be her.
Oh yeah.
Or
Marvel,
Happy.
if you're listening, you can have this idea. Just give me a little story credit.
Either that or Happy Hogan.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It'd be nice.
So yeah, he's on a jog, gets interrupted by Doctor Strange showing up, saying the Hulk just crashed through his roof, that he needs to come back to the Sanctum. And then while they're talking, the Black Order shows up and kind of starts fucking up New York.
Also, this is the first time he's ever even laid eyes on Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
The pairing of Strange and Stark was by far the greatest pairing of the whole movie.
I'm going to disagree because I already said that Thor with Groot and Rocket was.
No, the banter and the backhanded, like, their conversation was 70% backhanded compliments.
Not even compliments.
Just
Strange
backhanded
straight
insults.
Yeah. Strange was straight up like, "You're a douche" at one point.
Yeah, and so he saved the wizard with the necklace. That was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, and Spider-Man was the perfect one to
Yep.
to like mediate between them.
Because
So,
he didn't know. Yeah. That was one of my favorite lines too. Is like, oh hey, I'm Peter Parker. Oh, we're doing fake names. I'm Spider-Man.
yeah, and that's just like a running joke for those of you who haven't seen Doctor Strange. You should definitely. It's worth checking out, but that's a running joke from his movie too. That every time he introduces himself to someone, they think it's his superhero name.
Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Doctor.
Doctor Strange.
Um,
Yeah, I love that.
That just made me lose my... Alright, yeah. So,
Sorry, yeah.
the Order's there trying to capture Doctor Strange because he has the Time Stone in his necklace. And they start running off with him, so Peter Parker hops in to try and save him. And Maw kidnaps him and kind of takes off.
Yep.
What did you think of that whole fight scene in the beginning?
It was okay. Seeing the Doctor Strange and Wong fight with the with their like little
Discs?
with the discs and like the portals.
Mm-hmm.
Always the portals always get me. I love them. Especially when Ma threw all the spikes and he just like whoosh, and threw them back at him with a different portal.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I feel like they didn't utilize the portals enough in this. Like, you could do
they
so
did.
much with that.
They did up on space with Thanos. That was portals galore.
But I don't get why you don't just open up a portal, put it over Thanos' arm, close it. Gauntlet's in a different part of the universe now.
There you go. Yeah, we just ruined the whole movie. Right?
Well, we'll get to that when we get to that part of the story.
We just rendered the whole movie irrelevant.
So Maw
Idiots.
Gets Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker and Tony end up on the spaceship. They rescue. All right, I'm getting tired of Peter Parker being like, "Oh, have you seen this old movie?" and it being like Empire Strikes Back or Aliens.
This is the only second time he's done that.
I know. If he does it a third time, I'm out on him.
Yeah, he's an annoying kid. So they're really ironing that one down.
Yeah, he's too good at it. The first time I was like, I rolled my eyes in Civil War, and then this time I was like, don't do the same fucking bit again.
It worked.
It did. So they pulled in aliens and blew a hole in the ship, sucked them all out. They couldn't fly the ship back.
And that moment where they opened up the ship, and Spider-Man went out there and he grabbed him, and this should have been a much bigger moment when he was going through the hole, and then the Iron Spider suit opened up for the legs, like whoosh-ching.
Oh, I love that suit.
There needed to be a big moment, maybe a zoom in on his back with the nanobots coming out to form the legs, because the Iron Spider suit legs are iconic, and everyone loves them more than any other part of Spider-Man. And they just kind of like, boom, there it is. Look at these legs, and moved on.
I agree with you.
Need to be a
I love
moment.
that they kept all the legs out of the marketing. And all the scenes where he used them that were in all the trailers, they were edited out.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. That needed to be a moment in the movie.
Yeah.
To say like, we do have them, and this is them. Here they are.
I'm getting goosebumps right now even thinking of that.
We knew they were coming because of the fucking toys, with Legos.
What?
Which
you
sucks.
Also see...
when the toys like give out spoilers, that just sucks.
But they threw out some fake toys too, because there's one where the Hulk's busting out of the Hulkbuster armor, which never happened in the movie.
Yep.
There was a couple other. I was reading the article too. So they Marvel's definitely all in on faking people now, which I'm okay with.
Oh yeah, no, the trailers they have Hulk running around through Wakanda.
Never happens.
I know. So they know what they're doing. I know, but.
Yeah, I've seen some people mad about that online, but...
No, I love it.
I'm okay with it as long as the trailers still capture the spirit and tone of the movie. Show me fake scenes as long as something similar and in that same tone is going to happen.
Yep, exactly.
Alright, so they end up on Titan where the Guardians show up. Mm-hmm. They meet them. They have the world's worst planning meeting ever where Star-Lord and Tony just kind of yell at each other. While Doctor Strange looks ahead into the future and sees over 14 million outcomes, and they only win in one. And this is why I think he didn't use the portals to take the gauntlet. because
Maybe.
I'm sure he did in some of those, and he sees that no matter what they do, eventually Thanos gets the stones and kills them all. And like this is the one outcome where he wins, they lose some people, but then he, like he said he'll go to some world and live out in peace.
Mm-hmm.
So he's letting his guard down now, so I think Doctor Strange saw they had to lose the battle to win the war.
Yep. No, yeah, that's why he gave up the stone. He didn't have to. He earlier in the movie he was prepared to like just die for the stone. Because he knew it, but like he gave it up so quickly. And I loved how he was hiding it, and it looked like a star in the background. Mm-hmm. So clever. Genius.
I need to rewatch this movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Thanos eventually shows up, and probably the most inspired fight scene from the whole movie is them all trying to hold down Thanos while Doctor Strange like throws portals up so Spider-Man can jump through. Drax like slits his ankles so he can't walk. Mm-hmm. It's just this was the only time where I felt like people were actually teaming up.
Yep. Really working together.
Yes.
And yeah, it was okay. I'll give it that was Peter Quill's plan.
Yeah.
But he fucked it up.
So Star-Lord starts being like, "What happened to Gamora?"
No, he's Peter Quill in this moment because he was such an asshole. Peter Quill.
He starts asking what happened to Gamora, and Thanos, like under Mantis's weird mind control thing, mentions that he had to kill her, and Star-Lord just loses it, starts punching him in the face, which causes him to snap out of Mantis's, like, whatever she had him under, and then their whole plan goes to shit.
The gauntlet was almost off. It was at his fingertips, and he snapped it back.
Yes. So I think this is fine because it's completely within Peter Quill's character. Because think about his character. He felt his mom abandon him because she died when he was a small child, and then he was kidnapped and raised by space pirates who kept claiming they were going to eat him, which that's traumatizing as fuck. And then he has no family, doesn't think of anyone as family, gains a new family, and gains a new love. Like, he lost his only family love, gains a new family, gets Gamora, who they do love each other, despite all their problems. And he's like, she's probably the only person he genuinely loves, and then she dies just like his mom. There's 0% chance of him ever holding it cool during that scenario.
Well, just too bad that, if only he knew that the universe was in the balance.
I think no matter what. Dude, like, in that situation with that much PTSD from growing up, you're going to lose your cool. And I think there's plenty of scenarios where Doctor Strange was able to keep him from punching him and chose not to.
I give him credit. He fucked up twice because he was supposed to kill Gamora when she was captured. She, like, demanded it because she knew what would happen. And he didn't kill her. Which I am fine with that because it's really tough to kill someone you love, obviously. So...
Which, I also love that scene that, like, he couldn't do it right away, but when it came down to it, he was willing to do it, except Thanos stopped it. And then Thanos just smiles like, I like the boyfriend, and leaves. Yeah. That was such, like, I thought he was going to leave Star-Lord alive at the end because of that.
Oh, Star-Lord, he didn't have any say in who died.
I know, but I mean...
Okay.
Because
he didn't know he was going to have to kill Gamora.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, yeah, I think after all this was said and done, he was just going to like let Gamora go because he really did love her.
Yeah, he has a mission and he's going to finish it.
Yeah.
He's not trying to conquer the universe or anything.
All right, so let's talk about Thanos now. I was so pleasantly surprised at how much depth character this had. In the comics, it was so tough to like him or dislike him because it was just basic. Like, all right, well, this guy, he wants the power of the world. He wants to be a god, and he's gonna kill everyone off. And just it was very, very flatline and basic. This guy, Josh Brolin's Thanos, he was doing this as a mercy killing because his hometown was overcrowded and people died a slow death by starving. And everyone died anyways.
Yeah, and everyone died, not half the universe.
Exactly. So by fishing out half of the universe, he lets everyone live twice as long.
Yes.
Yep. So the logic is sound.
It's just
I will give him
he's
that.
a madman. Like, yeah, you don't just kill people, but
well, he doesn't know who they are.
Yeah, I could see why he believes it, like you said. And there's definitely points of the movie where, like, you're supposed to feel like he kind of has a point. Like, you got to do something about this.
And I love the little the corkscrew in it where he has to kill the one thing in the world he loves, and she just happens to be there with him, and she's just like, "Pa, you don't love anything. What are those tears for? Yourself?" And P.S. Red Skull put a pin in that. He's like, those tears aren't for him. That was like, okay.
Then,
he's a real person.
That
he
whole
was
scene.
He was crying because he had to
face.
kill her. It was a powerful scene.
Absolutely. And, like, yes, we know from the Guardians movies she, like, grew up tortured. Her sister was tortured. But again, you get enough from Brolin that you feel like it's clear he's the Mad Titan. He's a psychopath. Yep. But he believes what he's doing is right.
Yep.
And, like, he probably looks back on raising her. Like, he loves her. He looks back and he's like, yeah, I made you strong and resilient to survive in this universe.
And the only thing that I'll criticize in this scene is the fact that Gamora's death was kind of made irrelevant because I was so excited to see the Red Skull.
Yeah.
Kind of stole the scene from me.
So, yes.
When he came up, I was like, ah! Let's go! And she had no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
Because he was just standing there like a wraith, and I was like, oh shit, are they going to do Lady Death?
No. Oh,
and I'm so glad they didn't.
You know, Shannon turned over, she's like, is that a Dementor?
He kind of looks like one.
I was like, might be, I don't know. Man, Disney owns both.
So those of you who don't remember, at the end of the first Captain America, Red Skull tries to pick up the Tesseract on his own and use its power, and it just shoots him off into the sky. People didn't know if he was dead or he transported somewhere. It seemed obvious to me that he transported somewhere, but I've seen people argue that they thought he died, whatever. Apparently he was brought to this planet and was made to serve the Soul Stone. Yep. I think, in my headcanon, he showed up and was like, figured out what he had to do to get the stone and thought, I love myself, I'll like jump off, like I know this trick. So he jumped off and died and, like, became, like, a slave to the stone. And that's how he has, like, knowledge of who Thanos is, who Gamora is. He said he, like, gained wisdom of the souls.
Maybe, yeah, because the Soul Stone contains all that shit, so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it was great just to see him after 7 years.
For sure, yeah. And it wasn't even the same actor.
Yeah, that guy did an amazing job of, like, mimicking Hugo Weaving's
a professional impersonator, which I thought was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Bravo to that guy. I hope Red Skull shows up again at some point. So Thanos had to kill his daughter, which super sad, but he gets the stone and goes back to Titan. We already covered that fight. He almost loses, but manages to kill them all. Or not kill them all, but like beat them all. Makes the deal with Strange that he won't kill Tony Stark in exchange for the Time Stone, and then gets away.
He shoots off on the Space Stone or some shit like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Space Stone with the gauntlet, he can just teleport everywhere, which is awesome. Shows up in Wakanda, and Wanda manages to kill Vision before he can get to the Mind Stone, and he just rewinds it and kills Vision again. That was a brutal scene.
Yeah, but I love what they did there with Vision. They made him all gray when he died.
That's his comic book look, right?
Exactly. So that tells me that Suri is her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells me Suri has got a digital copy of what made up the Mind Stone that they can make or duplicate somewhat and get Vision back as the ghost of what he was.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if they do that. I did love too that after he brings him back and kills him, he just taps Wanda on the face, being he doesn't hate her for. He understands all these people are trying to stop him, and he just thinks they're wrong. They don't understand that he's right.
That's why he was so great. He had no. He did not hate anyone. He held no ill will to anyone.
He killed no one who wasn't trying to kill him.
I don't think he killed anyone, to be honest.
He just killed Loki and Heimdall.
Okay. Well, I mean, they were being dicks. They tried to kill him. Yeah.
Like, and he only used force to get what he wanted. He was very very precise with all his actions. And he patted her on the head, being like, "I understand. What you did was hard," because he just had to do the same thing and kill the person he loves.
Yeah.
And so he gets all the Infinity Stones. Thor shows up with his badass axe.
With a Groot handle.
Yes, with a Groot handle. Before I get into that final scene, I feel I just got to give a shout out to the scene where Bucky picks up Rocket and they're spinning, shooting. I love that every fight Rocket's in, somebody picks him up and shoots.
Yep. And also how he follows it up. I was like, hey, that gun for sale? No, not for sale. How much for that arm? Classic Rocket, trying to get a limbs.
Yeah, he even gave an eye to Thor in this, which I thought was neat. But
smuggled it up his butt.
So Thor shows up, throws the axe as hard as he can. Thanos even blasts and shoots out a blast with the gauntlet, with all the stones were lit up. So he's using the full power, and the axe still made it through, and stabbed into his chest. And he's thinking, holy shit, they won, they did it, they actually managed to stop him. And I just love that little laugh, and he's like, you should have aimed for my head.
Yep. That's when my heart sunk. I'm like, fuck. This is all for naught.
Oh, yeah. Just.
And then once that snap, Jimmy would have loved this. He would have hated the movie probably, but he would have loved how everything fell silent.
Oh,
there was not a sound. There was just wind and dust flickering.
Yeah.
As they showed individually everyone dying or ceasing to be.
Yes, just turning to ash and floating away.
What was the saddest one for you to see?
Peter Parker.
See that's the easy favorite, which that pulled at everyone's heartstrings because him pleading. He was the only one that was pleading.
Well, and I read he improvised that scene.
Well, yeah. Well, fuck him. He's dying. 16-year-old boy.
But good on Tom
with his
Holland.
father
That's what
figure.
I'm saying.
Tony Stark's his father figure, so that made a lot of sense. I think Falcon though, because he died alone.
True. That's sad.
It is.
But none of them except for Mantis and Parker knew what was happening because of their powers. Peter has spider sense, so he could feel it happening before it happened, and Mantis has her weird empathy thing, so she could feel it happening.
Well, they could see themselves disintegrate, so they all knew about it for 5 seconds.
Yeah, but both of them had close to 30 to 45 that they were freaking out.
Yep.
And just Tom Holland going to Robert Downey Jr. just being like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. I don't feel good.
Yeah, that was
as
tough.
He's clutching him and crying. That was, I'm gonna tear up now just remembering it. That fucking hit me. Then Thanos
great scene.
Space zones out of there, pulls the axe out and heals himself with the stones, and he goes to a hut on a nice planet, and he watches the sunset, knowing he balanced the scales. And as the credits reminded us, Thanos will return.
Wait, no, did he go to that, or are you mixing up the comic?
No, he did at the end of the movie.
I'll be honest, I can't remember, but my
memory
recollection. My recollection of this, the events was he snapped his fingers, and it was kind of like a dream sequence or a limbo.
Yes,
he went into.
I forgot about this.
Him and Gamora.
Do you think that is in the Soul Stone?
I think it's in the one of the celestial planes. Is that the right word? Because he's now a god.
I think
because when he's a god, you leave behind all earthly possessions because he did not have the gauntlet in that little sequence.
He did.
He did not.
He absolutely did. Somebody posted a screen cap because I didn't think he did either. I saw it online. Hang on, I have to plug my computer in or else it's going to die.
All right, I'm going to keep talking and do my own words. He absolutely did not. It was free and clear of any gauntlet. So that was awesome. So, you back? No? Okay. I know Photoshop's pretty easy to do, so I think someone's probably fucking with Dave here because I'm telling you, when I saw both hands and they were gauntlet free, I'm like, all right, well, he's dead or God.
No. He definitely had it in the hut, but not when he was sitting down. So I think there's just a cut there where he takes it off.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree. But
I think
when they go back, because that was the little dream sequence or the celestial plane
is all bright orange like the Soul Stone.
Yeah, no, which is that may be. So that's interesting. But they snap back to Earth, and they show Thanos, and the gauntlet is crumbling.
Yes, but
So,
again, you can use the Time Stone to repair that.
I don't think you can.
I don't. We have no idea what these things' powers are.
I do. I told you. I read Doctor Strange's book, and I don't think you can, because that was made for the gods, which is too powerful.
Maybe that's what Doctor Strange saw, was that they had to let him use it so it would break the gauntlet.
So they would get the stones back, because those stones are in someone's like coin purse now, I guess.
No, he still has them.
No, I know, but it's like in a coin purse, basically.
Yeah. They're just out there. Yeah, sorry. In the Orange Realm, where he was with Gamora, he does not have the glove. Sorry, I thought you were talking about it at the very end.
No. Okay, I was talking about the Orange Realm. He did not have it.
Yes, he did not. And the reason I think
Thank
that's
you.
The soul inside the Soul Stone is, in the comics, that's what happens. Anyone who gets killed by it, part of their soul is trapped in the Soul Realm.
Yep.
And so, like, they can technically be brought back. Which, hint, hint.
But see, yeah, I know, but he did not get killed by the Soul Stone.
He didn't. No, I think that was just...
how could he be in it?
Whoever has it can also go there. That's a thing that's in the comics.
Nah.
Gamora lived there for a while protecting another Infinity Stone.
All right, let's not talk about those comics anymore, because I'm still pissed off about those.
Okay. But yeah,
right.
So after that, he just teleports out of there with the Space Stone.
Yep.
At sometime later, he's healed. He sits on a hill and watches the sunset, knowing, like, he balanced the galaxy. I love that. It just ends on him smiling.
Yeah.
Like a resigned smile, like he gave up a lot to do this, but he knows he's right.
And then the post-credit scene, we have the final triumphant return of Maria Hill, my love.
And Nick Fury.
Fuck him. Maria Hill, more importantly. And they both die to dust. But not before sending out a transition to the one and only Captain Marvel in a 1990s era
awesome
beeper.
Danger.
A beeper. Love it.
Oh, yeah. And I
Very
also love
clever.
that they let Samuel L. Jackson get one last motherfucker in, but he disintegrated before he could finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Great
was
stuff. Before we wrap up, because we have to wrap up soon,
Yeah.
I'll say I found online, I watched a video about inconsistency in the timeline of the MCU. All right. After Avengers Age of Ultron, that post-credit scene had Thanos, and it's like, fine, I'll do it myself, and he picks up the gauntlet,
Yeah.
right? At what point does he go make Dinklage make this gauntlet? Because
I think it was way before the Asgard. I think Thor was just wrong when he was like, Asgard's gone. I think they just didn't know that it had happened.
Well, no, because they're one of the 9 realms. So if anything had happened to them, the guy with the rainbow road would have known.
Yeah,
It's definitely an inconsistency.
Except, think about it like this: wasn't he like not in power after the second Thor because Loki was acting as Odin and had gotten rid of him.
No, he had the eyes though. He had the power to see everyone.
Yeah, but I mean when he's like in guerrilla warfare trying to fight back against Loki, I think that's like lower priority is checking out on the other realms.
Yeah, true. I'm just saying that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean there was a few things where there was clearly retconning stuff.
Yeah, another inconsistency. I found out that Peter Quill's mom was actually in Captain America first.
Yeah,
first
I
Avenger.
saw James Gunn tweeting about that, and he was like, "That's just Peter Quill's grandma."
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Like you have to keep track of your B actors or your you have to keep track of everyone on screen, man.
Oh yeah.
So,
So before we do our rankings and everything, what do you feel about the deaths? Obviously, some people are coming back because they have movies, but I think anyone who didn't die from the snap is dead.
Who didn't die from the snap?
Yeah, like who died before that.
Oh yeah, they're
Like
dead.
Loki, Heimdall, possibly Gamora.
Gamora's
they're
dead.
all dead.
Gamora's dead.
We'll see.
Because they have to destroy the stone, I think, to bring it back. And I think she's going to... If they bring it back, I feel like that'd be super cheap and irresponsible.
I think Nebula is going to sacrifice herself a soul for a soul
Yeah,
to get Gamora back.
whatever. I don't know. I wasn't thrilled about everyone dying because, like we talked about earlier, I know about like the future of them. So that's like I can't really speak too much to that, like because
Same.
I had spoilers in my own brain beforehand.
Yeah. I do kind of like it is basically just the original Avengers with a couple side characters left.
Which is gonna it's gonna complete their arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the next movie, I think Tony's dying, Captain's dying, Black Widow's dying, and Hawkeye will finally be able to actually retire.
No, there's only gonna be one death.
Oh no, no way.
No, because you know what? They leaked the title.
Oh, what's the title?
It's the Avengers: Death of Captain America.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, swear to God. Heard it here first.
I don't believe that.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure
the comics have it. It's precedent set for the comic book series.
Also, like, I think Captain America's gone because Chris Evans has said for a while he just wants to be a director and, like, wrap up this. Like, he wants to do it justice, but he doesn't want to be in this for forever. Robert Downey Jr. said the same thing. He wants out. Natasha's arc really, as she said, like, almost every movie, there's too much red in her ledger. I think her doing, like, a noble sacrifice is the only way you, like, finish her arc. And then I think Thor will live because Chris Hemsworth, like, they've just figured out how to make good Thor movies. And Chris Hemsworth has said he wants to do this forever. And then Ruffalo's a small enough thing, like, he's not in as much movies. I think he'll stick around. And I think you can have Thor and the Hulk. I know.
We got time, man.
I know. You can have Thor and the Hulk and not have, like, they wouldn't be the characters who would lead the Avengers. If Captain America or Tony Stark are alive, they're leading the Avengers.
No, they're gonna shift. Tony Stark's gonna be S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hop into our ranking and review.
We've already reviewed it.
Well, yeah, our rankings.
Yeah.
Popcorn. I feel like this is an easy one. 5?
Yeah, 5.
5 popcorns.
For sure.
Critical. What did you give this?
I gave it 87.
Okay. All right. I gave it an 84.
Because I just want to say it's in the bubble because this is a much larger story. You can't just judge it on its own. As its own movie, it's more like 68, 70.
I can see that. But
because you can't do that. You have to take into account the whole like 19 movies. Unfortunately.
Yes. Did you see that New York Times review?
No.
They were furious that the only character who was like properly introduced was Thanos, and other people were just showing up, and you had to watch other movies to get who they were.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, this is the 19th movie in a series.
It's been going on 10 years, man. Get on board.
Yeah, like you know who these people are.
It's not for you. It's
and
for
it's
us.
Unprecedented. Like
no, it really is. Yeah.
Yes. So, what are you going to drink with it if you're gonna watch it again?
Oh God. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do maybe a. I don't know. I mean, it's. I don't want to be drunk for it, because it's. I mean, water. I mean, this is an emotional one for me, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. I went with
I'll say what I drank beforehand while watching the first time. Root beer.
Okay.
There we go. Root beer's a good one for this.
Oh yeah.
Solid.
I wrote down Four Loko. Because that's what I had before the first time I saw it. I'm back on the Four Loko train, FYI. One of my coworkers brought a bunch into the office.
Yeah, but it's not the originals. Originals were...
Oh, yeah, no. They still taste exactly the same, though. They are not good, but I am back on the Four Loko train. Shout out, sponsor the pod.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Also, their brand ambassador is Riff Raff, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That wraps up our review of Avengers Infinity War.
It does.
We'll be back with another movie review next week that we did not plan ahead, so...
Nope, we'll see you next week and listen to us on Friday.
This last Friday. because this will come out after Headliners.
I'm just
But
saying.
we have a new weekly.
We're going to be doing it on Friday as well.
That's true, too. All right.
Every
time
Friday,
travel's
Dave.
fun.
All right. We got to work on this whole time lapse.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Love you.
All right. Have a good one.